Are you adding on to a room in an old house and found that your old section has Ceil Heat, or what they call radiant Ceil Heat or radiant ceiling heat? It's called 3 or 4 different things. So basically what you have is wire in between 2 layers of sheetrock that controlled with a thermostat heats the room. Unless you're wanting to put the Ceil Heat back in, which I doubt you would, you may find it hard to get the sheetrock at the same level. So in other words, the old ceiling may be down just about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch lower than your new additions. It'll make more sense when you see the video where I've actually did the filming at the time I was working on the house here. So watch the video. Extending a ceiling that has Ceil Heat. This is not something that's going to be commonly called for, but for any of those people that may be building on adding an addition to a room or whatever, and they're faced with a ceiling that had Ceil Heat, if you're not really sure what it looks like, I'll zoom in here. Ceil Heat's composites of 2 layers of sheetrock. You got a layer of sheetrock, and then you have wire, as you can see, coiled on the sheetrock, and then another layer put on it, and that's the one that gets textured or whatever you're going to do with it. Now, if you want to extend that, especially onto an addition, you know, hopefully you've got your boards lined up with the old boards, which we did here. What I did is I cut myself about 6 inches back where the wires are exposed. Now I want to cut in with this voiceover at this point right here. Now I would actually recommend anywhere from up to about 12 inches lap. I cut this 6 inches back for a reason. One, this was a remodel job that I had to get rid of a house real quick, and I was on a very tight budget, and it just happened to work out with 12-foot sheets that it would have actually just lapped over 6 inches onto this board, so that way I didn't have to use any more sheetrock than I needed to. But in order to do it right, I would have probably lapped it over at least 12 inches, and that would have probably made it a little bit stronger, a little bit better. But I had no issues whatsoever doing the 6 inches. They worked out perfectly fine, and you'll see when I show the end results here. Then I put a piece of wood up here and just used drywall screws in there to support it. What that's going to do is give me something to put on a lap the new sheetrock here. The wire sticking out will give me the gap I need to make sure that the new sheetrock lines up with the old sheetrock, and then I can screw it to this board, and that'll pull them together strongly and make it to where it doesn't have any kind of humps in it. And that's just a little bit of a trick. I've actually seen people take that wire out trying to get a flush mount, and which you will, but then it'll be whatever this is, about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little heavier than a 1/16 of an inch gap. Then it'll make the sheetrock set up. And you could probably fill it in with mud, but this would actually be a better way of doing it. Now, as you can see, it blended together really well. And what I did is I went back, and one reason it seems so white on one side is I rolled the texture on the ceiling, and then I went back and stomped it. But then I went ahead and did the individual stomps all over into the new, or into the old ceiling, which made it blend together really well. And you could get a better look right here. And you see it went together well, and the stomps worked out perfect. And as you see here, this is pretty much the end result. It come out real nice. The house sold quickly. No one even knew that I had actually built an addition onto this house. It come out real nice and level. No sign of. I've seen many times people have added on, and you can see a hump in the wall where the ceiling meets the wall. You can see a hump or something like that, but everything came out smooth and perfect. So this is how I would, if you have a ceiling that has a Ceil Heat in it and you need to add on to it, this is one method to save you from having to rip out all the old sheetrock. I could have ripped out the layer that you see that's textured on the old part, ripped that out and pulled all the wires off, and then butted up the new sheetrock, and everything would have been fine. But one, that's just a lot of more sheetrock I'd have to use or possibly use, because there's no telling pulling that wire off how much it's going to damage the layer of sheetrock that's above it. So this is just one method. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment if you've ever had to deal with this. I'd love to hear everybody else's experiences dealing with this, but I just thought I would share it. See you in the next one.